In this interview here, Ben Shalom says that he sent a £1.2 million offer to Queensberry Promotions for Joe Joyce to come over to Sky and fight Joseph Parker on Sky Box Office. And he seems to suggest that Queensberry are not too thrilled about this offer. And I can't imagine it's the money that's the problem, but rather they still seem to be upset with Joseph Parker because he was supposed to fight Joe Joyce on BT Sport. But according to Frank Warren, all of a sudden, out of the blue, he just announces that no, he's not doing that anymore. He's signing a deal with Sky and Boxer. Frank Warren says that he should have been given the courtesy of being allowed to know that there was this negotiation going on between Joe Parker and Boxer, and perhaps he could have matched Sky's offer. But he wasn't given that courtesy, and so, he's a little bit upset about that. Ben Shalom still seems hopeful that over the passage of time, in the next few weeks, once tempers have calmed, that maybe they can revisit the fight and get it done and do the sensible thing. And it is the sensible thing. Unless Joe Joyce is going to get the Tyson Fury fight, and that is a possibility, then the next best option for him is Joseph Parker. Who else is there on the horizon right now for Joe Joyce? You could potentially think up some names, but everybody appears at the moment to be tied up with other fights. You've got AJ and Usyk having their rematch. You've got Filip Hrgović having this rescheduled fight against Zhilei Zhang. You've got Michael Hunter apparently fighting Hughie Fury. That's supposed to be rescheduled. So it appears as though all the top guys are currently engaged. I mean, we don't know what Dylan White's doing at the moment, etc., etc. Andy Ruiz fighting Luis Ortiz, and so on. So Joe Parker appears to be the next best option for Joe Joyce at this stage. And with Ben Shalom offering him £1.2 million, that's surely more money than Joe Joyce has ever seen before in his life. So for his promoter in Queensberry to stand in the way of him taking that money and taking that opportunity would be absolutely scandalous. But it wouldn't be the first time we've seen promoters do this kind of thing. In fact, it's unfortunately quite common in boxing. I mean, a good example would be the PBC. They have stood in the way of so many paydays for their fighters. Luis Ortiz was offered, $7 million or something like that to fight Anthony Joshua. This was when AJ was still undefeated. Turned it down. Adam Kaunaki offered a similar amount. Turned it down, and particularly with Kaunaki, that has got to be the biggest mistake he ever made in his career. Because Kaunaki's never had a title shot. And he's now been beaten twice by Helenius. So he never really got close to a title shot. That AJ opportunity, from a financial perspective, was as good as it's probably ever going to get for Adam Kaunaki. So a huge, huge mistake by him allowing PBC apparently to block that fight. And it's happened on many other occasions. I mean, one of the worst and most insane things I've ever seen is when Deontay Wilder turned down the DAZN deal. And he apparently was happy about it and wanted to sign it. But then Shelley Finkel, perhaps even Al Heyman, I don't know, but I heard Shelley Finkel got in his ear and told him, no, you don't want to sign this deal. And to make matters worse, Lou DiBella, who was working with Deontay Wilder up until that point, who actually set up the meeting with DAZN and basically got him that offer of over $100 million for a 3-fight deal. Lou DiBella was sacked by Team Wilder. I mean, that is just absolutely insane. And that just goes to show how much of a puppet Wilder's been all along. He's not very bright, and he is manipulated by the likes of Shelley Finkel and Al Heyman, who are running his career not in his best interests, but in their best interests, and particularly in the best interests of the network. They would rather keep him away from a big payday if it benefits their network. That's how shocking it is in boxing, okay? I hope that nothing like that happens here with regards to Joe Joyce potentially fighting Joe Parker on Sky Box Office. 1.2 million. I mean, that's a great opportunity right there, not just in terms of a payday, but also Joe Parker, a former world champion. This would be the best win if Joe Joyce was able to beat him on his resume so far. Yeah, he's beat Daniel Dubois, and Dubois is currently a regular world champion, but he hasn't fought the likes of Andy Ruiz and even Carlos Takam a few years ago and so on and so forth. So I would say that Joe Parker is more proven, certainly more proven than a Daniel Dubois. And therefore, like I say, it will be the biggest win of Joe Joyce's career if he managed to beat Parker. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below about what Ben Shalom said here. 1.2 million offer to Joe Joyce to fight Joe Parker on Sky Box Office. Can the fight get done? Will Queensberry Promotions stand in the way stubbornly just because of their own ego and prevent one of their fighters getting this great opportunity? Or will calmer heads, cooler heads prevail and allow the fight to go ahead on box office? You guys let me know what you think in the comments below. And if it does go ahead, how do you see the fight going? Will it be a victory for Joe Joyce or a victory for Joseph Parker? And you know, the thing about Joe Joyce, just to finish off, he's 36 years of age. So he has to take risks. There's no choice. And of course, he had vast experience as an amateur and in the WSB. So there's no issue with throwing him in with the top guys now. He has that level of experience. And again, at 36, he's got to get a move on. So it's not just getting a move on in terms of trying to get a title shot, but get a move on in terms of making big money. His window of opportunity to make life-changing sums is smaller than most, right? Most guys in Joe Joyce's position, they might be in their late 20s or early 30s. He's in his mid-30s, quickly approaching his late 30s. So, yeah, he's really got to get a move on and make that money. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.